The vibes are high in New England after Friday's win against the Commanders. So I thought, well, after we saw a little bit of everybody play in the first game, why don't we project the 53-man roster going into possibly what it could look like week one against the Raiders. So I'm going to ask you guys before we get started, who is your absolute lock to make this 53-man roster? I don't want to hear Drake May. I want to hear somebody on the bubble. Some guy who could get cut but could not get cut. Go down in the comments section right now and let me know who's your biggest lock. Welcome into Patriots Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Brett Alper, and I think we've seen a lot of people's stock rise and a lot of players' stock fall and could possibly be on the chopping block. So I thought, let's go through the 53-man roster projection just after one preseason game because there is a lot of spotlights and a lot of guys where you look at where you're like, oh man, he is not what we thought he was. He could get cut by the end of the season. So we'll start off with the quarterback room. You got Josh Dobbs and Drake May. Obviously, Drake May is a starter. Josh Dobbs is a trained veteran. You saw him starting with a whole bunch of teams, San Francisco, Minnesota. He is your guy. But you have your third quarterback, Ben Wooldridge, who I don't think is going to make this roster, but he will be on the practice squad. Throughout the Patriots' history, they've been known to keep a third emergency quarterback. Remember Bailey Zappi back in the day? Now that they have that role, it's going to be Wooldridge. He'll be on the practice squad, but he'll suit up every single week as that emergency quarterback just to have that extra roster spot. Then you go into the running back room, and you have Ramondre Stevenson, Travion Henderson, and Antonio Gibson. And you're probably wondering, like, Brett, why don't you have four on here? Well, I'll get that into a second, but there was an absolute lock that I had to make this roster, and that was Lan Larison. He was the undrafted free agent out of UC Davis, but according to Mark Daniels, and we saw this during Commanders game after where he was in a boot, Lan Larison broke his foot and will undergo surgery, and he was placed on IR, so he will be out for the entire season. Finished the game on a broken foot, which was insane. On his last play, he scored a touchdown, which I thought was pretty cool. But Lan Larison going on IR, pretty disappointing thing to say because it looked like his stock was rising and rising with this Patriots team. So I'm going three running backs, but I have this here. And you have Hunter Henry, Austin Hooper, and Jack Westover as your tight end room. Well, Jack Westover, I don't think he's playing tight end. I don't think he is playing tight end whatsoever because throughout the entire training camp, throughout what we saw in the first game of the season against the Commanders, even in the first quarter, Westover was been lining up at fullback. He is going to be the Patriots fullback, and with Josh McDaniels coming back, I think the fullback is back in general, but McDaniels loves to have that position. And now they did have a fullback with Brock Lampy. He was later placed on IR. And Larison was going to be my fourth back on this Patriots roster. But now that he was placed on IR, that opens up a roster spot. I think you're only going to see two tight ends with Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper. I think C.J. Dupree makes his practice squad, so you have that guy just in case one of them gets hurt. But Jack Westover will be the other tight end, but mainly lining up at that fullback position. First game was already in the books. But we got two more preseason games before we get the real party started. So don't miss our second watch party versus the Vikings. We are going to be live at 12 o'clock Eastern with kickoff going to 1. So go ahead so you don't miss out. Subscribe and turn those notifications on so you get that noti the second we go live for the Vikings game. All right, so let's look at the wide receiver room. And you're probably wondering, well, there's someone on there that I didn't expect. You have Stefon Diggs, Pop Douglas, Kayshon Boutte, Mack Hollins, Kyle Williams as your 5 locks, in my opinion. Efton Chism stock is just rising and rising and rising. And then, Javon Baker. I have Javon Baker now making this roster after the first preseason game. And there's no Kendrick Bourne. There is no Jalen Polk on there. So you're probably thinking, Brett, you've said no way Baker is one of these 7 wide receivers that's going to make this team. There is no way in hell he makes the roster. Well, a couple of things have happened since then. You had Marcellus Dial, who was a special team specialist, as your second gunner next to Brendan Schooler. Well, Dial tore his ACL. He's out for the year. And what we saw in the Commanders week 1 in the preseason, Baker was playing at that special team spot. He made a bunch of tackles, and he looked really, really good. So you need a second gunner on the special teams. And here's what Mike Vrabel had to say about it, moving Javon Baker, or Javon, however you want to say it. This is what he said. I think that's fantastic when you have players, especially receivers, that can create a role that can help you. Be big, physical. Everything that we see out of Javon as a receiver, when they can embrace that as special teams players, guys that are big and physical and fast and willing, that translate to special teams. So in my opinion, I think that Baker is going to make the roster not as a wide receiver, but as a special teams guy, just because it's kind of fallen in his lap. As with Dial getting hurt, it was an unfortunate for Dial, but now when you have a gunner, you need to have a second open spot. Baker was smiling when he was talking about being on the roster, being on special teams. He had big smiles, so I think that he knows, yeah, I got a real big job of making this team. Big spot. But now let's go to the offensive line room. I got 9 of them making. Will Campbell, Jared Wilson. I have Bradbury making this roster. Mike Owenu, Morgan Moses, Marcus Bryant, Demontre Jacobs, Ben Brown, Caden Wallace. I just don't think Cole Strange makes this team. It can cut him, and you don't have to lose a lot of money. And it just hasn't been good for Cole Strange. He was going with the 3rd unit in the Commanders game, so it seems like his stock is really fallen. That's your offense. Grade the Patriots offense, though. What do you think it's going to be? Do you got A, B, C, D, or F? Go down in the comments section right now. Let me know what your grade is for the Patriots offense. Before we get into the defense, I got a deal for you. I had this cutoff hoodie for a couple videos last week, but this sale is still going on. 40% off, and the classic Bill Belichick cutoff sleeves. It's going to get a little colder once we're getting into August, September football weather, but it's still going to be hot enough to where you want to have just maybe a light hoodie. This is perfect for you. Chatsports.com/Patriots hoodie. We'll have that in the comments and description of today's video. Got 4 guys on the interior linemen. Milton Williams, Christian Barmore, Kyrus Tonga, and Jeremiah Farms Jr. Farms Jr. was lined up a lot with the 2nd unit on the defensive line. We did not see Christian Barmore playing last week. Tonga was also there, and also a couple guys that we've seen. And I think you have 4 interior linemen. I know a couple people have talked about Ponder being either an edge or a defensive lineman. I'm going to put him with the edges, and that's why I have 6 guys going with your edge room. Giggity. Harold Landry, Keon White, Braden Swinson, Kayvon Chason, and I have Elijah Ponder going in there solely because you have an extra roster spot with having a couple people go on IR, and you'll see in a second of why I have an extra roster spot. Because if you look at the linebacker room, I only got 4 making it. Robert Spillane, Christian Ellis, Jack Gibbons, and Marte Mapu. And you're probably thinking to yourself, whoa, where is Jelani Tavai? He's not on my 53-man roster. He doesn't fit this type of system with the Patriots. Also, if you noticed on my edge room, Anthony Jennings doesn't make it. Him, Tavai, and Jennings do not fit Mike Vrabel's type of scheme with defense. He likes pass rushers. And Tavai also, he likes with coverage linebackers, and Tavai is awful in coverage. We saw that last year. But he's also fallen behind. He missed the game because of injury. He's missed practice because of injuries. And he's just gotten hurt over and over and over and over and over again. So he's not on the field, and he's just falling back. And there's a new guy at linebacker that looked really good against Washington. Former safety Marte Mapu. We know all about him. He switched his position this year because Mike Vrabel thought, oh, you could be a really, really good linebacker. What's going on here? All right, 4 tackles against Washington. That is really good, and he was shining. So I think that the coaches really see that, and he could possibly move that spot to jump up. And Tavai, you kind of don't miss. You don't lose a lot of cap if you cut him going into this season. Now I got the cornerbacks: Christian Gonzalez, DJ James. He was going off, had an interception in Friday's game. Carlton Davis, Alex Austin, Marcus Jones, and then I got Marcus Battle going as your 6 cornerbacks. So I think nothing really in particular here that sticks out. I do not have Kobe Minor making this, so unfortunately the Mr. Irrelevant isn't making the roster. So far, he could bounce back, but Miles Battle looked really good against the Commanders. And then your safeties, I have Jabril Peppers, Jalen Hawkins, Craig Woodson, Brendan Schooler. He is technically a safety, but he's on your special teams. And then I put an asterisk next to Kyle Duggar because I think that there's a big, big, big possibility that he could not be on this team come August 26th when you got to get down to cut day. At practice, and this was coming from yesterday's practice, but he was not with the first team either in today's practice. He was running with the second team. We saw Jalen Hawkins, Jabril Peppers, Craig Woodson with the starting defense as your guys with that safeties. He is now the reserve. So I started thinking, all right, they could trade him. They can cut him. Oh, there's a problem if you cut him. I don't think the Patriots are going to cut him, even though they probably want to, but he is one of the highest paid players on this team. And if you cut him, $14 million in dead cap. You only save about $1 million in cap space, and the Patriots have $60 million. I don't think they want to take that $14 million. So overall, I think you look to trade him. But as I was talking about how much in dead cap, I don't know with the talent that Duggar has throughout the past couple seasons that we've saw him decline if he's going to be if someone's going to be willing to trade for that salary. I don't know, but I don't think he's going to be on this roster much longer. Going to the special teams room, I got Andy Borregales, Bryce Behringer, and Julian Ashby. People are questioning because the Patriots have two kickers right now. They have John Parker Romo and they have Andy Borregales. Well, at practice today, it was a walkthrough, nothing too serious. The public wasn't invited. It was only close to the media. Patriots kicker's been really good this summer, but not today. Borregales went 2 for 4. Parker Romo goes 1 for 4. Now, Parker Romo hit a 57-yarder, but in my opinion, Borregales leads. He's your 6th-round draft pick. You drafted this guy. He has potential. Parker Romo is a vet. Yeah, I get it, but I like the potential with Borregales. Coming from Miami, he was money. I think he could only get better and better, and he already looks really good. So the Patriots, I got them going with the rookie out of the U. Before we get on out of here, I'll ask you guys. Patriots, after seeing what the roster projection is, they have a top blank in the NFL. Go ahead. Do you think it's top 10? Do you think it's top 15? I'm going to go with I'm going to say 15. I'm going to say they have a top 15 roster in the NFL. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid yet after one big win in the preseason. You got to show me once the season starts. That's going to do it for the latest edition of Patriots Today by Chat Sports. Don't forget to hit that big red sub button. We will be live on Saturday for the watch party. Also have our live show on Wednesday. So hit that sub button and let's go Pats.